Don't go live. You don't go live.
That's not something I do, but I guess because I haven't done radio in a while. Like, I guess that's what y'all do nowadays.
Right.
That's what y'all do. Like, but yeah, we just did the post and kept it moving. Like,
That's hilarious. So they just did the post and kept it moving.
straight on the website.
Go live. I think you're 4. Let me hear you quick.
Mic check 1, 2, 3.
She said mic check 1, 2, 3. She getting into her radio days, y'all.
I normally start counting in Spanish, but
Showing off. Mornings with Michael and Friends on Power 108.9. Shout it. Hey, got an awesome show for you today. Got some cool people hanging out with us today. As a matter of fact, today is January 11th. Mia's hanging out with us today.
hey.
Our first co-host of 2019. You should be honored.
Oh, thank you. I am.
Hey, I told you, hey, if that event that they had across the street at
Right.
Punch Bowl Social
Yes.
was anywhere but over there, we would have never met.
Right.
This would have never happened. Hey, got an awesome show for you today. Cool people hanging out with us today. Mia's going to be sitting there with us today. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about today. We're going to talk about this mom who gave birth using a sperm donor. Wait till you hear what happened.
Okay.
I hate the tease stories because people already be knowing the stories. There's too much information out there.
Right. It comes so quick.
Yeah, you heard that? You heard this story?
I haven't. So
Okay, good.
You tell me.
Tasha, you heard this story? That's my wife. She usually heard it because I try to surprise her and be like, guess what? I'm going to talk about tomorrow. She's like, well, I already read that. Yeah. Also, we're going to talk about this man who purchased a lottery ticket. Come to find out that his partner tried to steal it. But it is even more to the story than that. I'll tell you about that. The Wizard of Oz is back. You'll be able to check out The Wizard of Oz like in the movie theaters. But I'll tell you why they're bringing it back. Who else is coming back? Somebody convicted pedophile finally confessed. Tim Tebow got married. Who else? It's a bunch of other stuff that we're talking about. And guess who's hanging out with us today? Mia's gonna be in the building.
Yes.
Nikita Ty Stanley's gonna be in the building, and the Slutty Vegan.
Yes.
The Slutty Vegan's gonna be here. You talk about manifesting things. Whitey manifested that for us to get her on the show.
Oh, nice.
So when she shows up, hopefully she brings some food.
I know. I would love to try. I've actually never had anything vegan, so.
Okay. That you know of.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Hey, so we're gonna do that. We got your birthdays and shout outs on this days, national days, all that good stuff. Yeah, it's mornings. We're Michael and Friends. Mia's hanging out today.
Ew.
We're gonna get to meet her.
Yes.
Power 108.9. Shout it. Wake up. Let's go.
I think I've had a vegan cookie.
Yeah, and didn't even know it.
I think I did. But yeah, vegan cookie.
She's thinking about
I'm
me.
like, if I had anything, yeah. I wonder if there's something about. You ever went vegan, like completely?
Huh?
Have you ever? Like, are you vegan or you?
No.
Vegan?
We semi-vegan over here.
Semi.
My man Brian Jobert coined that phrase semi-vegan. Like we'll go plant-based, but we'll eat some bacon though.
You know what?
Hey, we'll eat some bacon. We working on it though. What up, Will Smith, aka Wilford? Had to put my jacket on like a rapper.
Oh goodness.
Now a rapper get on stage with a fur coat and it be
It's like
hot.
my first sweater of the year. It's cold out here in Atlanta. What's happening with that?
It's winter.
And what's going on?
It's winter.
I'm like, I was not ready. I didn't expect this. I don't even really own sweaters. I had a full house. Like, look. And it's early in the morning. It's gonna be cold.
Mornings with Michael and Friends. Power 108.9. Today's show is being brought to you by, we're going to give it to Nikita Todd Stanley today and the Team Todd Realty Group, dedicated to helping people realize the dream of home ownership. For more information, you can visit Nikita's website, like if you got real estate questions or anything like that, teamtoddrealtygroup.com. Mia's hanging out with us this morning.
Hey.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Well, not welcome back. You actually just moved to Atlanta, though, right? From where originally?
I'm from Philly.
From Philly?
Yeah.
Born and raised?
Yes.
On the playground is where you spent most of the
my
days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody know that one.
Up in Philly, though, congratulations. Y'all won the Super Bowl last year.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Football fan or no?
I am. I'm just like, you know, I feel some tight way towards the NFL, but I am. I grew up watching football every Sunday with my dad, so absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you did radio for some years up there in Philly, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like commercial radio, as you call it.
That's what I call it.
We call it terrestrial. So like you were on a radio station up there. What station were you on up there?
The last station I was on in Philly was Hot 107.9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the same Hot 107.9?
Actually,
here?
yeah, same
Owned
company.
by the same company? What's that? Radio One?
Yep,
Okay.
same company.
What-
So I have some friends that actually work here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. What shift did you do?
At the time, I was night, so this is so
Oh,
different. I
yeah.
was 7 p.m. to midnight.
Okay.
So you got me all the way turned around.
Wow. Right. You all out of your element now, huh? Now the radio game has changed. You say you spent 10 years in radio.
Almost 10 years.
Was that something that you went to college for? Or say I want to be in radio?
Well, I do have a degree in broadcasting. Shout out to Temple University. I went to Temple. I did not think I was going to do radio. When I went to Temple, I thought I wanted to be a news anchor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized I didn't want to do that. And I kind of fell into radio.
Okay.
And ended up with it for quite some time. So moved around for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shout out to my man Raul the Fool up there in Philly. Brett Johnstone. He's a comedian now. Turned around to, he's an author now. I gotta show you his picture. Like, I don't know. And he went to Temple, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Yeah, so I gotta
Yes.
see if we can make this connection. Also, shout out to my man, I think Lamar Campbell went to Temple, aka Soup. I gotta find out if he went to yeah, we call it Campbell Soup. You get it?
Y'all dumb.
Yes. That's how that worked out.
It took me a second to get that.
Boy, that's that going from late night radio
Right,
to early
it's
morning
early,
radio.
it's
Now, what brought you to the 8?
TV and film, the
Okay.
TV and film industry, because I also act. So
Okay.
I have some films that are out, and I'm transitioning and making my way that way.
Well, I'm glad you can make it up today, because this entire crew that you see behind us with Jacob's Eye, we're going to get you some roles and stuff, because even the young lady that you just saw that came and walked in, she be writing movies and stuff. Like, they be getting green lighted.
Oh,
That word,
okay.
their things be getting green lit, boy. So you got to be in the right place at the right time.
Absolutely.
Over here. And when we talk about, whether it's radio or acting,
Mm-hmm.
You really have to hone in on your craft. You know what I'm saying? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
not something, you come to the A and people start seeing their friends, in TV commercials or in movies and stuff like that. And they be like, "Ooh, I can do that." Right. It's not that simple.
No, it definitely takes some work. I mean, I think there's plenty of people that have a natural talent, of course, that you can pull something off. But at some point, if you want longevity, there's going to be something that you are not comfortable with.
True.
That you have to learn the craft for.
You are so right. As a matter of fact, speaking of like voiceover work and stuff like that, we recorded a commercial for the National Guard. That's what they do. They do marketing for the National Guard. So they utilize the studio to do some voiceover work. And I'm sitting in here watching the voiceover talents come in and do their thing. I'm thinking, maybe I should give a shot at a shot at doing the voiceover for commercial. And they were like, "Yeah, come on and do it." But after I saw the people doing it for real, I was like, "Nah, I ain't ready."
It was intimidating.
Right, it was very intimidating. I was like, "I ain't ready. I am not about this life.
Yeah.
This is these folks' jobs. This is what they do for real. They try to get this bread, so I don't step on no toes."
Yeah.
Hey, when we come back, Nikita Todd Stanley is downstairs. We gotta go grab Nikita.
Okay.
Just tell the intern. Be right there. Look, she
Oh,
looked too.
for real? I'm like, oh, for real.
Lord, this will be fun. January 11th is the date. Today is National Milk Day. Yep, on January 11th, it commemorates the day that many think the first milk deliveries in glass bottles began in the United States of America. Alexander Campbell of the New York Dairy Company professed to New York State Senate that his company was the first to make these deliveries back in 1878. Yeah, that's when they used to take the milk and just leave it on the front step.
I heard about that. Yeah. I heard about it.
My stomach hurting right now just thinking about that.
Notes,
hey, when we come back, I'm gonna tell you about the lottery ticket debacle, and I'll tell you about the woman who gave birth to a sperm donor. And guess what happened? Okay, Nikita, we see you. Nikita said she here now. She's on social media. We're coming down this morning with Michael Friends. Power 108.9, shouting. Hey, y'all make sure me don't touch nothing or break anything, y'all, because you know how they do when I step out.
I'm doing nothing. Good job. Nothing doing nothing. I'll be on social media.
You'll find
Who on there? I don't do nothing live, y'all. So I'm looking. That's so funny. Hey.
That's Nikita, Mia. There's not no potty break, Melinda. I went downstairs to get somebody.
How are you? Good. I'm Mia. Nice to meet you, Mia. I'm over there looking at the vegan food.
Did you say it you?
Yeah, I'm looking like.
Mornings with Michael and Friends, Power 108.9. Today's show brought to you by Nikita Todd Stanley. This is Nikita's first appearance since 2018.
Nice.
It's been forever. Hadn't seen her in a while. She's back. Southern versus everybody.
1913. I'm thinking about that.
Oh, the 1913. What does that symbolize? Like, I'm kind of lost. I'm not hip to y'all Southern stuff.
Delta Sigma Theta.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Delta Sigma Theta, the sorority.
It's our founders'
Right.
day weekend.
Oh, this weekend?
Yeah.
Why
I
is it
saw
Southern?
that online. I didn't see that.
Oh, okay. Y'all
It's
totally.
Sunday, to be exact.
Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
How you been?
I've been fine.
Looking great.
Thank you.
You ready to do this half marathon with me this year?
When is that? In March?
I don't know. We can just find us a date. Anyone?
Okay, let's go for November.
Oh, snap.
Oh, we gotta wait the whole year. We gotta wait the whole year.
I need some time.
How was your break?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Had an opportunity to enjoy family.
Yeah.
Some downtime from work. Of course, I still worked, but I wasn't out driving around.
Yeah.
People showing houses.
How's the family? How's your mom and dad? Because I know your mama would turn up in a minute.
Oh yeah, we had a good time on Christmas. We always have the great libations and great food. But I will say we were kind of low key this year. We were at home watching the ball drop on television.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's what I did.
That's what we went out to the lake house and just chilled at the lake house with Jeff and Renee, which was
so
very
fancy. We went out to the lake house.
Right.
My partner's got the hook up. It's all good. But just went down there.
He got
and
rich
chilled. that who you supposed to put yourself with? That's I'm around you all the time.
Hey, I received that.
Yeah. Hey, yesterday, speaking of rich friends, yesterday I read a story about this cat and a lottery ticket. Y'all know how it is when you get these lottery tickets and go do your little scratch off jump. Well, a guy who originally purchased this ticket back on December 20th at the Lucky grocery store, he purchased the ticket hoping to win some extra cash for the holidays, right? Well, the man won, and at first he thought his ticket was worth $10,000 on the scratch off. So he was like, oh, bet $10,000. So then he goes back to the house and tells his partner, hey, look, I won $10,000. And his partner was like, all right, turn up. Well, the next morning, one of his roommates decides to go buy another ticket, forges the ticket, replaces the $10,000 winning ticket with his real ticket. The guy then goes, the one who stole the ticket goes to the lottery official's office and say, hey, look, I won.
No.
Yes, he did. Well, the lottery official said, well, no, you didn't. Because at that time, the other guy took his ticket in. And was like, hold on, how y'all got two tickets that were worth $10,000? And it wasn't 10,000. It was $10 million. Yes.
Nice.
The friend who stole the ticket was eventually arrested.
I'm about to say.
And now he's calling his partner to get him out of jail with the $10 million that he won. Mm-hmm. He put all that work into that.
All that work.
And initially he thought it was 10,000. It was 10 million.
10 million.
Would you bail your friend out?
Say it again.
Would you bail him out? The friend that sold?
No. Because you're trying to be slick. That's how you got caught.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Can't trust nobody, man. No, I ain't telling nobody at all.
I know you get excited, but you gotta keep stuff like that.
Yeah, and you have to sign your ticket.
And you gotta sign the ticket, right? Exactly. Hey, sign them things. You put that signature on the back, because if you lose it, hey, that thing is in anybody's hands. So shout out to him. And then also it was a woman who gave birth to her daughter, right, through a sperm donor. Then the crazy part about it, 12 years later, guess what happened? She met the sperm donor and married him. Wow. Yes, 12 years later, they met because the daughter eventually started, sending out her little DNA through the little DNA in you and wanted to see who her dad was. Found him after 11 years or so. Wow. They hooked up and saw each other. She met the mom. Bam, they're a real family now.
Oh, wow, that's sweet.
That's sweet.
Yeah. So, that could be a movie.
Yeah.
Like a Lifetime movie. It's a Lifetime movie. That's what it's
and y'all will watch it too, wouldn't you? Yeah. Y'all are best. Hey, Nikita Todd Stanley is back. Mia is back. Mia, you mentioned that you've been acting since you came down to the A.
Yeah.
Anything that we would that you in that we've probably seen 1,000 times?
No, I do. Well, there's stuff out right now. If you have Amazon Prime, there are 2 films that I'm in, Fourth Quarter and Boston to Philly. So that's on Amazon right now and available for you to view and check out my work. Okay. Yeah, but then also, of course, my website, MiaMendez.com, has stuff on there.
Yeah. How has it been? How has the transition been from Philly to Atlanta?
It's easy and hard. I mean, I'm used to relocating in the sense of doing radio. Mm-hmm. I've done it in about 3 different markets. Oh, okay. So relocating and leaving Philly is not hard for me. Some people are like, oh, you left home, blah, blah. But I've done that before, so that's okay. Leaving for acting purposes is the different part. Mm-hmm. And, this is a whole new realm. And just meeting the community here. It takes some time, but it's moving forward.
Nikita Todd Stanley, Team Todd Realty Group, we talk about relocating. I know you really relocate families all the time. Would you ever leave Georgia?
I've left Georgia before. I lived in North Carolina for a couple of years when I got out of college. Okay. I lived in Charlotte. And so I
stopped in Charlotte on my drive down.
And I heavily considered moving to DC right before I had children. Mm-hmm. I really, really heavily, was thinking about it, considering it. Yeah. I mean, it's only in certain cities, just because, of course, I love my city so much that it's only a few cities that I would consider moving to.
Yeah, Valerie Randolph was here yesterday, and we were talking about DC, and she said the first time she went to DC, because she went to Howard. Okay. And Valerie was like, damn, the first time she saw an alley. Those alleys up in DC. She was like, what is it? Because she's from Augusta. Augusta. Ain't no alleys up there, boy. She said she was walking down the street and did one. What is it?
Especially if you watch them on scary movies.
Right.
Like, oh,
yeah. DC is a spot, you know, Tasha would not allow it, but I think DC is a spot that I would move back to. I think.
Really?
And of course, Hawaii, you know, after that little vacation we had in Hawaii, I definitely would go back.
I think DC offers like a bigger city vibe, but still like down south.
Yeah. And when I go somewhere, like I don't want to have to work, you know, I would just like moving to Hawaii, like I could be a tour guide or something, like, you know, be on a bus and be like, hey, this is the Pacific Ocean. Hey, this is King Kamehameha and Cam Highway. I could be that guy.
It's so expensive there when you're gonna try it.
It is.
I'm sure $100 a head to do a tour.
But you know, I'm a magician too, so I can stand out on the Waikiki Strip and do my little card tricks.
Oh,
I can so see you doing that.
Oh, I got card tricks in my pocket.
I so see you doing that.
Right, be hustling folks, boy. Hey, Nikita Todd Stanley hanging out with us this morning. Mia Mendez is in the building with us today, and the Sluty Vegan is sitting right there. You know we will ban her. Oh,
you thought I was going to look you.
I told her the intern to go get Nikita. She did like this, huh? For real?
Hey, look.
Hey, we come back. We got your birthdays and shout outs. Hey, Karen C. Johnson. Happy Fabulous Friday to you as well. It's Mornings with Michael and friends, and our friends today, Mia and Nikita. Teen Time Realty Group. See what's going to be popping in 2019 with this real estate.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Mornings. Michael and friends.
My Sarah's gonna show up. She was just making sure the burgers are nice and hot.
Oh, for real?
I have confidence in her.
Oh yeah. What's that name? Pinky?
Yeah.
It's early.
It's not early.
I mean, no.
It's not early. Most people are up right now anyway.
No, seriously, yeah. For the most part.
Oh, it is.
But they not like functioning. They're not functioning.
Lying in the bed, right?
They not functioning.
They ain't got to be nowhere till 9.
When you first told me to come, I was thinking 6 a.m. to be honest.
Yeah, I know. I saw you.
I was like 6 to 10.
That's a morning drive right now.
Yeah, so I was like 6 a.m. Okay.
What up, Terrius? Miller? And they waking up too.
That's dope.
Is somebody here, Michael? That's normally not open.
Yeah, they came in early today.
It's Friday. They want to get out early.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we start early.
So when did you move down?
Almost 8 months ago.
Are you doing local acting, like any projects?
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of background with like Star, The Resident, stuff like that is going on that's filming here. And then I just got into, Dustin Felder. He passed.
That name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he's an acting coach, actually in LA, but he opened the studio here. So I just went into his class here, probably about 4 weeks in. So I was like, let me get in a class because, it's a muscle. And I did so many projects in Philly and like New York area. And out here I haven't been. So I was like, let me get in a class because I don't really have a project I'm working on. But
makes sense while you're waiting on.
Yeah, I was like, because I miss it. I was going crazy. Yeah, just want to stay sharp. So, but it's a good class. I like it so far. It's of course they focus on the work, the craft of it, but also the business side of things. So I feel like that's what I need. So I've studied for quite some time, and now I'm like, okay, I need to understand how to market myself and stuff like that.
So did you go to school for acting? Or
yeah, well,
arts?
Well, when I went to Temple, so my degree's in broadcasting, which is kind of how I fell into radio. But I started studying acting in New York probably like 8 years ago. So I used to, from Philly, it's easy to get to New York.
Like an hour and a half.
Yeah, so I used to travel to New York every week. So I studied out there. And then started doing plays and independent films and stuff in the area. So, yeah.
What are the names of the movies on Amazon?
Fourth Quarter, and then there's one called Boston to Philly. Boston to Philly, yeah. Both. Well, Fourth Quarter was shot in North Jersey. Boston to Philly was shot mainly in Philly. There's like a couple scenes from Boston, just because my co-star, his character is from Boston and moves to Philly. But it's mainly shot in Philly. I made my way to Atlanta. I was visiting
You
for
have
a while,
connections
though.
here? Okay.
Yeah, I was visiting for a little while, kind of back and forth. So I was like, okay. And I was just thinking about what I wanted to, do. And like you said, how there's only certain cities you can move to. But for me, it's like New York, LA, and now Atlanta is blossom. So I love New York, though. I don't know. That I do miss. Yeah. I miss being able to just jump on a train and just be in New York.
I would not have thought DC for you.
Well, ultimately I thought it was New York, and then I visited New York a couple times. And although I like visiting, I don't see myself living there. It's too much. Like it doesn't calm down.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
All the time.
So DC is that happy.
Yeah. Actually, you don't think about it because you're from there. Like Philly is actually an awesome city, and it's almost like a mini Manhattan at this point. It's grown so much.
Okay.
That if I could do what I wanted to do from Philly, I probably would just stay because it's almost the same feel at this point. What's crazy is because of how busy New York is getting or has gotten and congested, there are so many people from New York that come to Philly because they want they wanted to slow down a little bit. So they enjoy Philadelphia for that reason. So I've seen a lot of New Yorkers come to Philly. That's cool. I just gotta get out more in Atlanta.
Mornings with Michael and friends on Power 108.9. If you celebrate a birthday today, happy birthday to you. As a matter of fact, birthdays are being brought to you by Coach Oliver Adams, aka the Coach. You see that picture of Coach and Trish the other day.
Yeah.
Trish was over at I saw that over at Metro Brokers now.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's a recruiter over there now.
Okay.
Yeah, so shout out to Trish, one of our old DR Horton partners.
Yeah.
Is that where you know her from?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she is. She really is. So shout out to them. And shout out to Coach. Y'all know that true power comes from the inside of you. And once the power to live is ignited, change happens immediately. He has a new book out. It's called Power to Live Through Obstacles. And you can check it out on his website, power2live.yo. Celebrating a birthday today. Here's some celebrities that are sharing that same day. Not a whole bunch, but Mary J. Blige is 48 today. Shout out to MJB. Yep. You think it's higher or lower?
No, I just thought she was older.
Oh, okay, yeah, she's 48 today. I mean, if I did my math right, I went to Dub.
I'm not questioning you. I just thought she was older.
Atlanta Public Schools shouted, well, you know how they did on our test. Well, they would erase some answers for you in a minute. Also celebrating a birthday today, Lil Twist.
Okay.
You know Lil Twist? Who's Lil Twist? You just said
I
that.
know, but I don't.
It's the kid
from
Young Money, Cash Money, Young Money with Lil Wayne, the little young dude.
Okay.
He's 26 though.
Okay.
Also, director Malcolm D. Lee.
Okay.
Malcolm Lee did Girls Trip. He's 49 years old today. And the couple of WB birthdays, Mia, WB birthdays would have been birthdays.
Oh, I was like WB. Okay.
Yeah. If they would have been here, they would have been celebrating a birthday.
Okay.
Daryl Dawkins, former basketball player, he would have been 62 years old. He passed away when he was 58. And Big Bank Hank from the Sugar Hill Gang. Yeah, remember he passed away about 4 years ago. He was 58. He would have been 63 years old today. Thank y'all.
Okay. Well, happy birthday, Mary. She's my fave.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Lil Twist. She's my favorite. Hey, if you're celebrating a birthday today, happy birthday to you from us. Mornings with Mike and friends on Power 108.9. Shout it. Nikita Todd Stanley in the building. Nikita, where's your sorrow? Like, I normally don't call people out, but we're going to call out your sorrow today.
My sorrow.
How you say it?
Sorrow.
Sorrow.
He's so crazy.
Sorrow is like sad.
Okay.
Sorrow is like sad.
That's how we say it in DC. Thank you.
Sorrow.
That's how we say it up there. Team Tower Realty Group hanging out with us today. This is her first day back. She's normally here on Mondays, but she will be back next Monday, right? You'll be here?
Back on Monday.
You'll be back on Monday. TeamTireRealtyGroup.com is where you can check her out. Shout out to you. You've been out for the new year, relaxing, enjoying yourself, regrouping, and get ready for 2019.
Get my mind right.
Get your mind right. What about the real estate market? We hear a lot of things like government shutdown right now. If government shutdown, does my loan get underwritten?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
government shutdown has nothing to do with individual mortgage companies. Fortunately, with FHA and VA, they've given that authority over to those individual mortgage companies. So ultimately, they're not affected. It could trickle down. I want to say maybe not, because it may, because it just depends on if they needed certain things at the VA that they couldn't probably resolve. It could ultimately affect someone slowing down. I will say that the IRS will definitely affect people trying to get mortgages if they needed to go down to get like tax stuff, quickly. And what else? Nothing else that I can think of that would affect on this side, other than the fact that people who are government employees will be affected and can't buy a house. If they were under contract, long-term new construction projects that probably are currently going on, they were like scheduled to close, that sort of thing. He's really not thinking on how this is affecting everyday people because he's so high up.
Yeah.
That he has no touch for reality.
Yeah, it's all about what he wants to do. And like I understand, like every president has their thing that they look to accomplish while they're in office. And for President Obama, it was the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, and he fought for that for years to get it through. But what happened was it didn't affect 800,000 people in their jobs, because today is the day that paychecks are supposed to go out and people ain't getting checks. Yeah. Have you ever been in like a situation where it was shut down or the checks not coming and you had to resort to something else?
No, I mean, other than the fact that stuff don't close.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I'm self-employed, is because of course I want to control my outcome. However, and again, you have outside sources or third parties that prevent that. Which is the closing that doesn't close. So,
And one thing I mentioned that I remember, Mia, is back in the day when they had the actors went on strike. And people always think about when the boom of reality TV started. It was during that time. It was during that time. And then they didn't want actors crossing that picket line to go to work, but sometimes, hey, you got to work and you got to make a decision, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if you're someone who's been acting a long time, that's what you do. And then, I mean, it's different when you're in that world and you're at that level. Like, people don't expect you to go just get a job.
Right.
There's that pressure of it.
Yep.
Like, okay, so now I am at this bank, work at this bank, but people know your face. And it's like, what's Meryl Streep doing at the bank? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's a lot. But yeah.
Like our man from the Cosby Show. He was put in that situation.
That was so terrible. I was so mad at that.
Right.
Oh my God.
Now they looking at you like, Mia doing internet radio. She done fell off.
You just got to keep on getting up every morning.
Yeah, you do.
Regardless of what it is. You have to go meet your opportunity.
Yeah, you have to, because you got to fill the void, because you can't let your ego get you too far gone where next thing you know, you sitting outside.
Right.
Still got to work.
That's true.
I know when I left corporate America, real estate, my first time, I had wrote the book. I had just started Real Talk with Michael McFadden on Blog Talk Radio. I said, if I sell 117 books a month, I could pay my mortgage with that. But then next thing you know, you sell 4 books in 2 weeks. You're like, all right, this ain't gonna work. So let me go back to work. So now author and talk show host Michael McFadden is working at Starbucks. But you had to make that sacrifice. And even as a real estate professional, there was that time, you going on 20 years in the game now, but there was that time in the mortgage business when you made that transition from regular job to mortgage business and real estate, that now you're having to juggle occupations just to make what you want to do work, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been times where it gets kind of tough in this business, and I'm like on the internet, like, okay, let me find a job. Right. And then I snap back into reality and say, okay, just put a little bit more effort into it.
Right,
so,
exactly.
You have those days when you have the highs and the lows in all of what we do.
Yeah. What about you, Mia? Because as an actress,
I was gonna say, because even here in Atlanta, coming here and not coming with radio, because it's different. When I relocated in the past, I was relocating because of radio. But yeah, I had to get a job. So I have a job in Atlanta as I progress in the acting world. And there are pros and cons to it. You have to get to a place where you realize, okay, I'm spending too much time at this job and not enough time in what I want to do and making that come to fruition. So you got to pull back, and there is that struggle with the finances, but you just, it's about risk, faith, believe, And, you know, I do believe that whatever you put your energy into does manifest. So you just have to keep reminding yourself of that.
Yeah, you have to. And you got to put the work in, because I remember those days when I first started working at D.R. Horton, where I still had my little part-time gig at Macy, at Rich's, at Lennox. And I would shut that community up about 5:45 just so I could get to that next gig, because I had to make it work. And I think one thing with entrepreneurs and a lot of people is one that they think it comes overnight.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my mindset was, I'm an author, I got these books and this radio show, I'm making money. It don't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
It does not work like that. And then the second part of it is, if you are jumping into something and it's just about the money, it'll never work out.
Yeah.
Money is a byproduct of what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got to keep going. 10 years, 2009. It'll be 10 years in August when we first started. And I got to say, shout out to Nikita, because Nikita was the first person to give me some money and say, here go $7. I'm gonna have a sponsor. I'm gonna have a commercial on Real Talk with Michael McFadden. And I was like, bet. Now all I got to pay is $43 more. And my broadcast fee is paid, Shawty. Nice. Thank you for the continued support. Mornings with Michael and Friends. Power 108.9. Did you know that it was on this day, January 11th, back in 1964, that the U.S. Surgeon General at the time released a report that said smoking cigarettes was a definite health hazard. It's like definite. Yeah, it was definite at that point. Yeah. I tell all my friends that smoke. I used to smoke. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hate on nobody that smoke, because it is an addiction for real. And I smoked for about 30 years, I think. Was it 30? Yeah, I smoked for about 30 years. Okay. Was it 30 or 20? I got to do the math, you know, with the dub, right? But now I always tell my partners when I see them smoking cigarettes, I say, you know, it's a little warning on the side saying that they will kill you.
Right. That's the amazing part. It is a warning there. Like,
so,
I used to sell cigarettes.
I used
to work for one of the top companies in the world.
Crazy. I did promotions for a little while. And this was, again, in between radio gigs where you got to do something. And I was doing promotions for a little while, and it was for cigarette companies. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't like it. I felt guilty. I did it for about 3 months, and I was like, I can't do this. I'm not telling people to smoke. Like, I got to go. Like, I'll find a job somewhere else. They paid really well, too.
Oh, yeah.
They made a lot of money.
Right?
They paid really well. I was like, I got to stop.
They do say, well, when I left college, like, I was like one of the top paid, like people coming out of college, like, how much you make? I've got a couple of cigarettes and a company car and a bonus.
I can see Mia now walking with that thing with the strap around her neck. Cigars, cigarettes.
I was so upset. I was like, why?
Cigarette girl.
Right, the cigarette girl. Hey, you come back. Hey, got a lot to talk about today. Wizard of Oz is returning. Have the babies seen the Wizard? Not the babies. They ain't babies no more. But has the girl seen the Wizard of Oz? Like the real
the real one. Actually, I saw Beyonce. We were looking at Instagram or doing something, and Beyonce came up singing Home.
Okay.
The one from The Wiz.
Okay.
And they're like, what song is that? I'm like, okay, we got to pick you. Got to bring you, show you Wiz.
Yeah.
So the black version.
Yeah.
So now when they hear Space Jams and R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly, who you tell them singing that? Jacquees. Hey, we'll be right back. It's Mornings with Michael and Friends on Power 108.9, shouting. I saw that meme. Did you see that one? It said the guy said I was watching Space Jams with my daughter, and I Believe I Can Fly song came on. My daughter asked, Daddy, who's singing that? He said,
Did you see that he had a part, like he went to a party the other night?
It was at his, I believe it was in the
Brandy Mitchell
studio or
what up, Tom?
Warehouse that he utilizes in Chicago.
He went to a club, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought it was in a club. And girls are in there talking about lock me up or take me hostage or something.
What?
Yes.
I'm so disgusted.
I'm very disgusted.
First of all, I was one of those people when this first all came out, right? Because I stopped supporting R. Kelly years ago. And I had this conversation with friends, colleagues, whoever, right? And so when this first hit, when the documentary came out, which I haven't seen, but
dark.
Yeah. Part of me, I'm back and forth with it, but I'll probably watch it. So when this came out, everybody was going crazy. I was one of those people that were like, why y'all getting mad now? This been, But now, after I got past that, now I'm at a place of, let me just be grateful that now eyes are open. Me be grateful for the documentary and the eyes are open and not be.
And I think the Me Too movement had to be a catalyst to bring it back up because of the fact that he was acquitted.
Yep.
I think it had to be another movement to bring light to it again.
Easy.
Mornings with Michael and Friends on Power 108.9. Today is January 11th, 2019. Hanging out with Mia Mendez from that Philly. Also, Nikita Todd Stanley, Team Todd Realty Group in the building. Hey, I told you that today was National Milk Day. There's also National Human Trafficking Awareness Day. Yep, every day on this day, January 11th. It was back in 2010 by a presidential proclamation that each January has been designated National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. Now, following the startup of National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, it helps people recognize and realize that human trafficking is real in society, and even here, especially here in our beautiful state of Georgia, because if you go down to that Hartsville-Jackson International Airport, that is the hub, the most busiest airport in the world. Sometimes they go back and forth, but between, what is it, China or what's that
Somewhere
other airport?
Yeah,
somewhere
that
somewhere like that. But Georgia is always, Hartsville-Jackson is always on that list of being aware of human trafficking, because it's international. You can go anywhere. You can go to Chattanooga, and you can go to Istanbul right there. And what happens is you get a lot of kids that go through there and been taken hostage. And we were just talking about the R. Kelly scandal Lifetime movie. Yeah. And I was like you at first, Mia. My barber and I had the same conversation last week when the conversation came up. And his comment was, he's been doing this all along. We knew that. I was like, you're right. But I said, I didn't know the extent of what he was doing.
That's in processing that, and my first reaction being like, where y'all been? I thought about the power of just documentaries, films, and the power of the media, because now that people actually sat down, visualized it, and saw it with their own eyes, the power that does, because a lot of us already knew, what I mean? It was already known. And I guess sometimes people need that true connection to something to realize how detrimental something is.
To bring it to light. We had to bring it to light. And when I started hearing some of the stories, and we actually had Drea on the show before. It was me, Griff, and Tony back then, where we had a chance we had Drea on the show. But when you hear about the manipulation, and some people say, they want to blame the parents, like you try to get your daughter into the music business and you didn't care and you had a blind eye. And I understand, but the manipulation started when Robert, that's what they call him, where Robert will promise that, what I'm saying? That was part of the plan.
So that's the thing. So you have to kind of segment this out into three different parts. He's a child molester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Aaliyah, a lot of those little small children. And of course I saw the tape when I was in college. So it's clearly that child was a child. And then you have the population of people who had the parents escorted their children to be with him. And so that's where you kind of have that gray area of really what's going on.
Right.
And then you have these weak women who are now saying, oh, I dated him. So people fail to realize that a predator will be nice.
Mm-hmm.
A predator will lure you to say, oh, they're lying, and manipulate you. They're going to be extra nice to you.
Yep.
And then they bring you into the fold. So a lot of people say, oh, these women are old enough. Yeah, they're old enough, but there's a lot of broken women out there.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And a predator knows weak people.
Yep.
They wouldn't attack. He wouldn't come to me.
Mm-hmm.
He would come to her because she's not weak. But you can spot out the person that's the weakest in the audience and go find them.
That's so true.
And that's exactly what he's done. And so I know people don't think that it's necessarily a crime in this case because they're quote unquote women, but he's starving them.
Yep.
They're not being held hostage with chains. They're being held hostage in their mind.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I don't understand why people are saying, oh, get off of him. These women went there to be manipulated. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I see
Somewhat,
right. They just, they don't want to leave. They want to be there. It boggles my mind that it's women that are saying this. Women that are defending it.
And we talk about it during, all during the year, but especially during Domestic Violence Awareness Month, where it's when the manipulation where, he takes the phone He says, don't talk to your friends anymore. He isolates you from your family, stuff like that. Now all of a sudden you have nowhere to go, because what happens on the other end is now, your friends and your parents are thinking, oh, she just don't care no more. You know how we get some, she ain't gonna call me? Well, I ain't gonna call her. It ain't that she didn't want to call you, it's that she can't call you because of the situations that he placed these people in.
I mean, and rightfully so. And I can understand how people are saying, especially with the parents, because I've kind of really, you know these things. Like the little girl that has gone missing since 2014.
Okay.
R. Kelly's business has been out there for a very long time. Yep. The first thing that you Google for R. Kelly is he peed on somebody.
Right.
So why are you going to the concert and allowing your daughter to go backstage with him? And so my children, let's just say, I didn't know anything about R. Kelly, but if somebody who has taken my child and I have not seen my child since 2014, I'm not on the documentary talking about, oh, can y'all please help me go find Gabrielle and Nadia?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
No, I'm throwing Molotov cocktails through the window.
You gonna do that?
I'm learning everybody.
Yes, that's what everybody said online. Like, I'm burning this building down. Like, y'all all gonna come running out and it's gonna be on fire. Like, what you doing?
Nikita gonna get her babies back, and that little time.
I might be in jail at the end, but they free.
And somebody gonna be braiding your hair in jail.
I don't care, my baby's free.
Right, exactly, and that's so true. And another part that gets me is, especially when we see and hear other women defending this, but then when we hear Black people trying to compare it to other people's circumstances. Well, what about Harvey Weinstein? What about Hugh Hefner?
And that's the part that's really disappointing me, because as a community, Black women are being affected. I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, it's us. And so for you all not to be able to say, oh, my women are being affected, that's not the first thing that you go to. You go to, identifying with this person.
Right.
I'm like, why are you identifying with a predator?
Right.
Why are you identifying with him? I don't care what color he is. He's a person in our community, just like Wayne Williams. I don't know what he did, but why identify? Oh, why don't y'all go get Jeffrey Dahmer? He killed little kids.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I still don't think Wayne did it, though.
Well,
and he went to Dove's. Shout out to Dove. You know how we try to. Hey, he did go to Dove High, though. We try to do, but that's the stupid stuff that we do to try to defend.
I
don't understand it.
Yeah. No, I think that I saw, just because I'm seeing comments, again, I didn't watch the documentary, I haven't looked at it yet, because I'm just struggling with that. But I've seen comments online and to that effect of the what about. I've seen people, their thing is they feel like that society, media, whatever, is constantly trying to bring down African American men, right? Mm-hmm. So when they say what about, I think they just want the spectrum to be equal across. It might be bad timing, but that's the thing. They want it to be equal across. Like, why are we bringing down? Like, of course, we just had Bill Cosby, so you're bringing down all of our successful Black men in their eyesight. So they're like, then bring down some of yours.
So Harvey Weinstein's on trial,
right?
Jared is in jail. And whomever else that has been caught, their situation. So to me he's not a Black man today.
Right.
He's a predator.
Right. He's a predator.
I don't care what color he is.
Because and another part of it too is just, I think it was Jada Pinkett Smith who mentioned that, why is it that R. Kelly is becoming more and more popular? Like, his music is streaming more and all that kind of stuff. We're still supporting that. Celebrating that, because now we try to separate it. Okay, he's a child predator, but Ignition is hot though. That is a great song, and you can't do that.
How do you even listen to the music the same?
Right,
like for me, I remember when he was on tour, the Jay-Z, that tour, right? They were coming to Philly. Yeah. And I wanted to go see Jay, but I refused to buy the ticket because he was on tour with R. Kelly. This was way back then. And then by the time we got to Philly, the tour had broken up. So we became Jay-Z and friends, and I got to go. But yeah, that's my thing. I got to a place where I couldn't even, as a woman, listen to his music the same. So again, it boggles my mind for grown women that are singing along to his music or watching the videos. He's not even speaking to you. But where in your mind does this music and hearing this man say these things make you feel good? Because all of his music is very sexual.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. And he's not doing that for you.
And with watching that series, like, it's so dark. Like, it really portrays how sick this dude is in the mind, because he literally was searching targeting. Yeah, that's the word. Targeting young girls. Ooh. And there was a time. Did you watch the show?
Yeah,
did you see the show?
I mean, yeah, I watched it and talked about his. I mean, if you think about his music, his book of music, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number.
Yeah.
You know, the 12 play.
Seems Like You Ready.
Seems Like You Ready.
All of those are talking about young manipulation.
And when you hear the doctors talking, how he could come out with Seems Like You Ready, Age Ain't a Number, but then he hits the African American community with I Believe I Can Fly, or Step in the Name of Love. Woo. And now we forget. It was the part that got me in there is when he was on trial, and the little girl would sneak from her house to come down and watch the trial. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And he targeted her out, wow. And befriended her from that trial. And like once he was acquitted 2 years later, next thing you know, he has that little girl in the house.
Wow.
I was like, wow. He's sick. Hey, when we come back, we got the crew in the building. That's what I always say. You never know what your legacy is going to be until you die. Because you don't know what's going to happen, and that never. Mornings with Mike and Friends. Power 108. What up, Coach Oliver Adams?
He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
Very good at what he does.
I saw this video. He was in another country and he was singing. Did y'all see this snippet online? He was singing, replacing the words of his song. He was basically saying, "Do you have your passport? Did you get your shots? Do you want to come back with Rob to America?" He was singing it. I forget what song it was going to, but he was So it was in a different country. I don't know what country it was, but I was like, it's just crazy to me.
But it's funny that you don't think about it until people bring it up in conversation about because they talked about him being called the Pied Piper.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, yes.
And so if you don't know the story of the Pied Piper, you just Kelly is our
you just go with it. Yeah,
but the Pied Piper lured little kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right.
Yep. Yeah.
It's eyes wide shut. He's doing it wide open, like y'all can't touch me.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's crazy how, and that's the other psychotic part about it, is that you putting it out there, and we just like, okay, that's all hot.
So, but what does that say about us?
Mm.
Because the same thing. I was listening to Jada Pinkett. And then I started looking, and once you kind of go down a rabbit hole, you kind of go click video after video. I'm just like, okay, I gotta get out of this.
Yeah.
But we are all guilty. And the reason why I say that is because growing up, I had girlfriends that were overdeveloped. They had breasts when we were 16, 17. And Black men, unfortunately, in my community, Shirley, you expect to be 15, 16 years old. If you're a little older, I'll holler at you. Why are you saying that to a child?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So the culture, to me, is the reason why we're accepting of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing.
Mornings with Michael and Friends, Power 108.9. Mia Mendez is in the building with us. Mia, what was your radio name when you were up in Philly or at the different radio stations?
Mia Mendez?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So crazy.
Midnights with Mia Mendez on 107.9. Hey, talk about real quick. We're talking about R. Kelly, but kind of switching gears for a second. Talk about the difference between like commercial radio that you did for so long versus now the way internet radio is booming.
Yeah, huge difference. Well, one, commercial radio, we couldn't have these conversations as long as we do. Talk breaks is like this. So you get used to saying things in 60 seconds. I was trained to say a whole lot. But that's the biggest difference. I think the difference is dialogue. You don't get to have as much dialogue. And the music overshadows that,
And what you saying that, it goes back to what Nikita, what we were all just talking about, is what responsibility do we hold? Because now when you talk about commercial radio, and with commercial radio had an opportunity to jump in front of this a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But when you try to just squeeze it in 60 seconds, say, R. Kelly's on trial for child molestation. He was acquitted. And then you move on to the next story.
Not to mention these stations is probably, still playing R. Kelly. You still throw the song in there, here and there, So it's a lot. I think that was one of my biggest things, because you tend to be, what people don't realize as the listeners, especially young listeners, they think you're the voice on the radio. They believe you're the DJ and you're controlling the music that is being played. And we do not. There's a music, director, all of that. I am simply the voice. So yeah, there was that struggle as well, because there's certain things being done, being played, that now it looks like I'm in support of. And I had an issue with that. And
it's so strategic. We talk about how Robert Kelly would strategically find these little girls and what he would do to them, that process and what he would do to them.
Yeah.
Even with media, that's what we always say. It's called television programming and radio programming for a reason, because they're programming us
for you to accept things.
To accept things. And like you said, radio is so strategic in planning, right?
And I've had arguments with people, like different people will say, oh, but you got parents and blah, blah, your parents are supposed to be the ones to this and that. And I'm like, okay, I feel you. And you know, thank God I have amazing parents that, yes, guided me in a particular direction, right? But the fact of the matter is, there are children out here that don't have that. So they gravitate towards radio and television and these celebrities and things of that nature. So whether you want to be a role model or not, it comes with the territory.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I've had this debate often, and I just feel like, yes, there should be, as radio and television programming, you need to take some responsibility for what you're putting out there, because the mediums are so powerful.
Yeah.
It is so powerful.
Nikita Todd Stanley hanging out with us today too. And Nikita, we were talking about, you know, our responsibilities as adults and as a society, especially, you know, you say growing up, you and a lot of your girlfriends, you know, at 13, 14 was kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Not me. I was straight up and down like a thing.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
You had a flat chest?
Yeah, I had a flat chest. And a flat butt, all of that. No gifts, no nothing. But I had girlfriends who were, you know, pretty voluptuous. And so, of course, the comments from grown men, not like, look, you know, 18, just over 18. No, I'm talking about grown men with families. They say stupid stuff like, you know, yeah, Shawty, you look good, you know, to be such and such, you know, however old you are. And it's just the culture that, to me, that accepts this, and that's why R. Kelly has gotten away with so much. This is because our culture, for whatever reason, has made us so sexual. They have sexualized everything. And so, you know, snide comments to little girls is no longer inappropriate at that particular point in time. And still, I'm assuming it still goes on now.
You hear people today. You hear cats today. They always talk about, she's 17. She almost 18.
She almost ready.
Well, guess what? She almost 16 too. 16 is right there, partner. So now we got to start holding our people accountable. Hey, when we come back, we're going to reset this thing. It's Mornings with Michael and Friends. Today's show is being brought to you by our very own Nikita Todd Stanley and the Team Todd Realty Group. Also, Mia Mendez is hanging out with us today. She is our first guest co-host of 2019. And she over here doing me like this. Speed up, you got but 60 seconds.
I did. Look, hey, we can get it in.
We good. Hey, we had your birthdays, your national days. Oh yeah, I'll tell you about the convicted pedophile, since we're speaking of pedophile. And guess who got married? Got engaged recently, I guess. I'll tell you about that. You know what I'm talking about? We'll talk about it. Mornings with Mike and Friends. Power 108.9.
She ain't text you,
Man.
I'm
very
We're not getting no burgers. No,
well,
I'm kidding.
Well, so the thing about it is, like, I've been trying to get a burger. And I said, okay, over the Christmas holiday, I'll have more time. Because, of course, you know, you just can't be standing outside.
I heard,
So over the holiday, she doesn't announce where she's going to be until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So by the time she's announcing them, either I made dinner plans or during the holiday anyway. You know, I'm over here shopping somewhere, other side of town, but she was on her meal for all of the Christmas holiday. And I did not get an opportunity to get over there. And I don't live far from it either.
Ike was telling me that. I was telling Ike that she was going to be a guest, and he said, yeah, it'd be like a 2-hour wait when you stand in line for these burgers. I was like, for real.
So I'm glad that she's opening up a store in LA. I can just walk in.
Did she announce like the location?
Yeah, I've been asking.
Yeah.
They're actually having a grand opening tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So I'm guessing maybe she booked and said that's gonna be busy. Mornings with Michael and Friends on Power 108.9. Today's show is being brought to you by Nikita Todd Stanley and the Team Todd Realty Group, dedicated to helping people realize the dream of home ownership. For more information, you can visit her website, teamtoddrealtygroup.com. Mia Mendez hanging out with us. First guest co-host of 2019. We appreciate you hanging out with his sister. Hey, I'm gonna tell you about who's about to get engaged. There was a convicted pedophile who confessed to a murder. I'll tell you what murder he confessed to. And the Wizard of Oz is coming back. I can tell you where you can see that. Oh yeah, I got this little game I want to play with y'all. All the rumors, like what do they call it? The myths that we learned growing up. I want y'all to tell me if you think they're true or false. Hey, today is January 11th, 2019, and did you know that it was on this day back in 1988 that U.S. Vice President George Bush met with representatives of an independent council to answer questions about the Iran-Contra affair. Why am I talking about that? Why is that so significant? Because we had the pleasure to interview Rick Ross on Michael and Joy last year. And he was our first stop on his book tour. And the whole ordeal that he was mixed up in the drug game had something to do with the Iran-Contra affair. So I was like, I didn't realize it was that deep. But yeah, Rick Ross was getting it in, boy. Rick Ross wasn't selling, 50s and 20s. He was slanging them keys.
And then I was watching the story that he's not necessarily in agreement with, but Snowfall.
Yeah, Snowfall, yeah.
Gives you a little bit more insight on his involvement.
Yeah, and it was also on this day back in 2001 that U.S. FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, approved the merger of Time Warner and AOL. And why do I bring up AOL?
I know what you're about to say.
This is back in 2001, right? That's when it happened. Everybody remember American Online, right? Everybody probably had an AOL.
I forgot what AOL was.
Right. But everybody probably had an AOL email. You had one?
Look.
Shout out to my host today.
She still has one?
Man, what?
Let me tell you. No, I sent him, I was like, email me, whatever, something about the show, right? So I sent him my email. He gave me the emoji with the crying eyes. So I'm like, AOL. But I try to keep my stuff separate. And because I've been doing radio for quite some time, I put all my radio, I continuously give radio email to AOL and my acting as my Gmail. Like more present stuff is like Gmail. So it still works. It still comes to my phone. Stop it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Okay? He was cracking up. I was like,
are you sure you didn't have to log on to a Commodore 64
whatever.
computer to get that AOL? Right, dial up.
Why they don't shut it down though?
No, but to be transparent, I still have an AOL account, but I send my coupons to that.
Okay.
That's a good idea too. Yeah, that's a good idea. See, I have a Yahoo that I do. Yeah, I don't know. I got them all. But
yeah, I got a Yahoo. I don't even use the Yahoo. I kind of transitioned from the Yahoo because somebody hit me with I sent them my email address for Yahoo, and they hit me with you still got a Yahoo? I was like, okay, let me. Nah, they did. They really did.
Stand your ground. I don't care how many people tell me you still got AOL. Yeah, email it.
But the
if you want me to get your info, then send it there.
But the bad part about it is, like, when you sign up for email stuff and it was all Yahoo, especially like, you do the little coupons or something, and they keep sending you stuff. It fills up with that Yahoo deal. So I just keep sending stuff to that Yahoo. All business and radio stuff go to the Gmail.
Right.
There you go. Yeah. Hey, yesterday there was a guy who was convicted pedophile. Since we're talking about pedophilia, his name is Gary. He actually confesses in a prison letter to a high school classmate that he accidentally killed JonBenet Ramsey back in 1996. Yeah, he said he's always been a lone suspect in the murder of JonBenet, whose body was found at her home in Boulder, Colorado, back on December 26, 1996. He wrote in a letter that I let her slip and her head bashed a piece of concrete or something. And he sat there and watched her die, and he stated that it was an accident. Well, whatever.
Did they find her body? They did find her body?
No, I don't think they never did they?
Oh, I was under the assumption they never found her body.
Okay, yeah, we could do some research. I'm gonna check my AOL account and see if I can see if it's on there. And then I think the wife had died, right?
Yeah, I think she died.
The wife died. Yeah, there's just so much stress on her. And also, speaking of, talking about changing it to something happy. Tim Tebow is getting married.
Oh,
yeah, finally, Tim Tebow finally can get him something. Yeah, because he's been claiming that he's still a virgin. Well, that's what he say. He say he's still a virgin. So congratulations, he's gonna get him something.
It's okay to be a virgin.
I wasn't bad. I just said he can finally get him a piece. Yeah, he can finally get him a piece. But what's gonna happen when you get married, get a piece, and be like, man, I gotta sleep with this the rest of my life?
But if you don't know no
If
better,
you don't know anybody,
yeah,
that's what you fall in love with.
Okay.
yeah, if you don't have anything to compare.
Yeah. But maybe he's gonna want it. Well, anyway. Tim Tebow, congratulations. So I saw this list yesterday online, and I thought it would be fun if we try to decide if it's true or false, right? You know those old myths like back in the day, like when you used to get a burn, you got burned over your grandmama's house. What would your grandmama put on the burn? Butter, right? So the thing is like, is butter a good idea to put on a burn? Kind of, sort of, not really though, right? We used to
I want to say I was talking to my sister. She's qualified. She's a MD.
She's a doctor.
But I want to say something. She says the component one is the cooling factor, but there's something in there, some type of cholesterol or something that helps it burn. So ultimately, it is good for it, but I don't think we knew that it was good for it. We just did it.
We just did it, right? Exactly. But if you're vegan, you can't do it if you're vegan, though, right?
Oh God!
You gotta get you some vegan butter.
It's just a vegan butter. So I just want y'all to answer if it's true or false. What you go outside with wet hair, you can catch a cold.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
No, it's false. Totally false. Colds come from viruses. They don't come.
Lies, because I just blow dried my hair last night for that simple fact. I have gotten sick from going outside with my hair wet.
It wasn't your hair. It was a virus. You caught a virus.
Whatever.
Well,
in the hair from the wind. Right.
I would say that her body became more susceptible because of the fact that her body temperature dropped. Her hair being wet, more susceptible to the viruses that she came in contact with that day. Because every surface that we have in here has something on it.
I tell no lies. I'm telling you.
Do we need to call Jamila? Do we need to call Dr. Jamila?
I felt it go through my throat. I knew it was the wind. I knew it was the wind.
How about this one? If you shave your hair, it grows back thicker and darker.
Yes.
Yes.
False. Does not grow back.
Who did this?
Because y'all thinking that y'all going by your grandmama's myths.
No, we
your grandmama's myths.
Shave my legs. I know what I'm saying.
That's why men shave their face so they can have the beard can connect.
I shave almost every day. Couple times a week. Mine don't grow back thicker. It's still stuck. I can't grow this. I can never be in the beard game at all.
Look it online. I'll tell you what you put on.
All right, thank you very much. All right. How about this one? When women live together, periods sync up.
They do.
I think that's true.
False.
No, that's medical.
I feel like that happens.
They do.
Even in jobs, like if you work around too many women and for a long period of time, I'm telling you, it happens.
That's true.
How about this one? It says it's false, but
he's like, I don't know.
Sleeping with a bra can give you breast cancer.
No.
Would y'all say no?
No.
Yeah, that's false. It does not do that. How about if you pull out a gray hair to grow in place?
Yes, that's true.
I
have a handful of them.
Oh.
I'm pulling them out.
This ain't working because y'all ain't playing right because all of these are false. Y'all still living on y'all grandmama remedies. Hey, you got any remedies? And shout out to my beautiful goddaughters. You got any remedies that you use for the babies that your parents or your grandparents used on you, like the butter?
Do I? No, because I had a bad experience. But when I had an earache, my mom put the sweet oil in there, but you had to put the fire on it first. Ooh. She burned my ear.
No.
What about you, Mia? You still use any old remedies?
No. Vicks? I don't know.
Vicks is the go-to. But I used to hate it when my mom used to put it on top of my lip. Like, Mama, it burns.
I put it, yes.
You do that?
I put it here, and then I also put it on the bottom of her feet.
Yes, the bottom of the feet.
I've never done that.
Yeah, I used to do Tasha like that when she was pregnant. We would put the Vicks on the bottom of her feet. Yeah, that would get better. So, hey, when we come back, we're going to wrap this thing up. This morning, we don't go to 9. I heard you tell somebody, oh, you were just lying, so you got an extra 45 minutes.
You told me that.
I've never said that. Hey, it's mornings with Michael and Friends.
I can show you the text.
Pull up that AOL. You need to plug in. Mornings with Michael and Friends. Power 108.9.
Look, I'm going to show you. Yes,
all right, Taramus, I got you. My brother wanted me to tell you about a remedy.
A remedy?
It's a remedy talking about no hell periods sync up. They say they do.
Yes, they do.
They do.
It'll be like right on time. Like, hold up.
Oh, Taramina's got an AOL. My little brother, Brian Jobert, still got an AOL.
Thank you.
They trying to come out now. Oh,
Thank
they
you.
don't.
It must be a lot of people having that.
Everybody, because emails don't go away. If you open one, it's just there. So you can't say you don't have stop. Yes, you do. You can say I don't use it anymore, but you got one. You got one.
Hey. Still use your MySpace?
No, I don't use it.
No, I never had a MySpace.
I had a MySpace. MySpace was fun.
I never could figure out how to build a page.
Yeah, it was tough, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Everybody used to have all these cool pages. I was like, nobody will show me how to do this.
It was tough.
You had to select your 8 friends.
Right.
Like, people would get
Yeah,
mad.
your top
like,
friends.
yeah.
Like, this person there. You took me off your top. Like,
And what was the white guy's name that was the trade?
Tom.
Tom.
I don't know what Tom is doing now.
Right. Living on the island somewhere. We made a grip. Mornings with Michael and Friends and Power 108.9. We just talking about some remedies, and my little brother kind of called me out and wanted me to tell you about it. I also got to say good morning to DJ LV. Laverio! Shout out to DJ LV. I know DJ LV. He had a funny video that he posted with his son AB where they were washing clothes, and the top of the washer says, push to start. So he was getting AB. I guess he was playing a joke on him. He was telling AB to, push to start. AB was pushing the words and not the button. And he just kept pushing. And he just sat there and let him struggle. We're going to get you, LV. But shout out to my man, DJ LV. We were talking about remedies and old stuff that our parents used to do. Now, this is alleged. I don't know if it's true because my mom is not here to clarify. But word on the street was back in the day that, people always ask me about my skin. And what I tell them is that my mom used to wipe my face with my pissy diaper when I was younger.
No, she didn't.
I can't confirm nor deny because I don't know. She's not here anymore. But I did hear that the urine, the stuff in your urine is kind of a cleanser somehow. So.
And astringent? Yeah, because it's strong.
Oh, and astringent. That's the word. Now, what I used to do though, straight up, like when I was younger, like I would just take a handful of alcohol and just wash my face with the alcohol and then just not put anything on it. It'll kind of dry it out or whatever.
Okay.
But it was a couple of remedies that I did. I'm just blessed. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I didn't say she peed on my face.
No, I said from the diaper.
Oh.
You don't feel like
she didn't
wiped.
put R. Kelly on.
Yeah.
She just took my diaper off and just let the pee just go all over the place. That's how she did. So shout out to my mama. Hey, once again, Nikita Todd Stanley, you'll be back on Monday.
Yes,
Team Tower Realty Group, moving properties Monday to be more specific. That we call it. What's going on in real estate world 2019? Do we need to be worried or are we good?
Well, right now we're like in a medium where we're getting to I guess the in between the seller and a buyer's market. And so it's just one of those things, depending on what market you're in, will determine that. But I would say that sellers kind of need to be more realistic now.
Okay.
That people are not just gonna buy emotionally. Buyers are more picky now. It's a little bit more inventory on the market. And the interest rates are still rather low.
Gotcha.
So buyers kind of still somewhat have an advantage going into 2019.
Shout out to you.
Yeah.
Shout out to my brother who's just gonna post old pissy face ass. That's how he set me up so he can jump right. Exactly. Family. Mia Mendez.
Yes.
You can check her out tonight on Power 108.9. It's the Quiet Storm with Mia Mendez.
He took it back.
Right. What you got going on?
So again, I just want to let people know 2 films you can watch if you have Amazon Prime, Boston to Philly in 4th quarter. They are available now to check out. I appreciate you. The whole team appreciates it. MiaMendez.com. Everything is up there. But yeah, I'm in here in this acting world.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you hanging out with us. You got to come back and do it again.
I will.
Yeah.
I have fun. Thank you for having me.
Hey, click your heels together and follow the yellow brick road to movie theaters because The Wizard of Oz is returning to the big screen. Yep, in honor of the beloved film's 80th anniversary.
Wow.
It was released back in 1939. And Dorothy is returning to select theaters so that you guys can check them out. It's a company called Phantom Events. It's bringing it back for 3 days, Sunday, January 27th, the 29th, and the 30th. So if you ever wanted to check out The Wizard of Oz on the big screen, with select theaters that you can do it at. Also, we got to bring back the Wiz too, because the Wiz is pretty good. There's two things in the Wizard of Oz. It was that moment where y'all remember she had Dorothy locked up with the little sand thing, and she had the little globe on the table, and then and the next thing you know, the witch's face came in there.
Yes.
That part scared the hell out of me still as an adult. And then on the Wiz, the little munchkin things.
Those monkeys flying monkeys.
It scared me to death. Yeah. So I still turn my head when I do that. Hey, I got to give a big shout out to last night, T. Marie Radio. They made their debut on Power 108.9 last night, and they had this kid in here named Kevin Ross. Kevin Ross is an R&B singer from Washington, D.C., that DMV area. He came and stopped by to do the show last night. He has a couple of new records out that he's promoting. He's down in Atlanta doing this thing. You may know his song that's on the radio right now. It's called Long Song Away. But nicest kids in the world. Super duper humble. He's written songs for Trey Songz. Y'all know I'm a Trey Songz fan, right? But he's done that, and he's in Atlanta for a couple of days. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Kevin Ross and keep up the good work. You know he's my nephew now. You know how I am. I'll claim somebody in a minute, won't I? Yeah, I will. Hey, I hope y'all have an amazing weekend. Tomorrow is Friday. Y'all know what that means. It's Friday, and I ain't got to get up early in the morning.
Nice.
I see y'all Monday. It's mornings with Michael and Friends on Power 108.9. Shouty! Have y'all heard this song yet? Yeah, that's a cat. Yeah.
No.
I haven't. Maybe it's a beat that sounds.
Hey, what up, boss?
I haven't heard this.
It's Uriah. It's Uriah, man. What up, Cole Parker? Turn it off before they. Yeah.
His name is what now?
Kevin Ross. He wrote this right here.
You know Evan Ross sings.
Oh, he does?
Yeah,
He's married to the
Ashley.
Simpson, right? Yeah.
He's in Atlanta a lot.
Oh, is he really?
He wrote.
Ross and Caroline. What's
I don't really know. Well, you know what? I think it's he's got a character on Star. I believe he comes from Star. Yeah, Star. Yeah, Star, The Resident. This is a show called The Passage.
Oh yeah, I saw that. The Passage.
But yeah, Star.
But you know what? Maybe I thought he was Trey Songz. Maybe or Long Hair Don't Care.
Oh, Lloyd.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he wrote this right here.
Oh, he wrote it. He's not singing.
No, he wrote it.
What was his name?
That's Trey Songz.
Okay.
Yeah, Trey and Nick. He wrote that one.
That's okay, sir. You know, Long Hair Don't Care is gonna be on in Rent.